Relationships have one of the biggest impacts on our emotional well-being, with arguably having the most important decision of your life being choosing who your partner is going to be. So the big question here is, how do you choose? Hey perfect people, the new Final Fantasy VII Remake is on its way here, and what better time than to talk about one of the most controversial relationships in video games. Is Cloud destined to be with Aeris in the Promised Land, or was his true love right next to him the whole time? Both Tifa and Aeris are iconic characters to the Final Fantasy franchise, and they just so happen to be in love with the main protagonist, Cloud, causing a complicated but oh so juicy love triangle. Before I get into it, if you want to hate me on the choice I make, then that's fine. Just make sure you tell me why, and maybe I'll reconsider and make another video saying I messed up thanks to Cloud Lover 9. First, let's take a hot look at Tifa. Tifa and Cloud both grew up together as childhood friends, and like most love stories, this seems like they were destined to be together. Especially in the beginning of the game where Tifa talks about the promise that Cloud will be her hero. So fucking adorable. You can definitely tell they will be future smoochers from the way Tifa uses her polygon body language and her small flirtatious remarks. She is pretty much always there for Cloud, even when he's stuck in a wheelchair and makes this weird noise that kind of scares me. Tifa is usually the one that takes the lead when it comes to intimacy, and Cloud basically seems like an emotionally unavailable person, avoiding intimacy and generally seems completely unaware of what's going on. Both Tifa and Aeris literally have to push him out to go on a date with them. On the romantic date with Tifa, she attempts to say that she loves Cloud, but like most people, she is scared of being rejected. And I don't blame her, since Cloud is always emotionally distant unless you force him to be a suave man through his multiple choice reactions in the game. By the end of the date, she opts out of saying how she truly feels, and Cloud, yet again, oblivious to what is going on. Literally, everyone could read that she clearly loves him. You would have to be a spiky-haired idiot not to see it. Perhaps the most romantic scene in the game is when Tifa and Cloud share a moment together underneath the high wind alone, where there is definitely no one watching. If you favor Tifa in the dating mechanics, then you get this kind of dialogue. Before I go any further, let's take a look at Aeris. Aeris is someone that Cloud runs into early on in the game and forms a relationship relatively quickly. Honestly, this all makes sense because sexual interest is at its highest when you first meet someone. She even asks the questions right off the bat if Cloud has a girlfriend, which through the dating mechanics you can choose to say yes or no. The correct answer is yes, you have a girlfriend, and she isn't an ancient like you.
I'm not an ancient!
When Cloud sleeps at Aeris' house, not with her, he has a dream of his mom telling him he needs an older girlfriend to take care of Cloud. Wow, thanks Mom for teaching me how to depend on other people for my own problems. So now Cloud's probably thinking, oh shit, I really should listen to what my mom told me and date Aeris. She's 1 year older than me, and she can heal me all day, if you know what I'm saying. But Aeris makes the mistake of talking about her old boyfriend and how similar he was to Cloud. And to make it even worse, it turns out to be Zack, the guy who Cloud thinks he is for over half the goddamn game. So you already know what's gonna happen. Luckily, Aeris slowly realizes this and makes it clear when they go on a date at the Golden Saucer. She talks about how similar Zack and Cloud are. She mentions how she wants to meet the real Cloud. Unfortunately, that never happens. Well, I guess that's it. Tifa wins. Tifa and Aeris both truly loved Cloud in different ways. They both also had problems. Tifa is constantly afraid of telling Cloud the truth about him not being a soldier and lies about his past on multiple occasions. Aeris never actually gets to know who Cloud actually was. Granted, it's not her fault since Cloud clearly has his own issues. To be honest, Aeris doesn't really have any relationship problems. She's honest, respectful, and has good boundaries. To toss an even bigger wrench into all of this, Cait Sith even mentions Cloud and Aeris are destined to be together. But let's be real, Cait Sith is a fucking weirdo and is magically controlled by some random guy from Shinra. Just look at what he fucking does when Aeris dies. Are you fucking kidding me? How can you trust what he says after this? Would you trust this thing if it came up to you and said, hey, you guys are definitely meant to be? Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, the writers have stated that Aeris did truly develop feelings for Cloud and not Zack Cloud. This was made by design to leave it up to the person playing the game to choose who Cloud loves more. They wanted to make this complicated love triangle to make you feel these mixed feelings for both the characters and to feel the struggle that Cloud was in. The real truth is neither of them should date Cloud. Cloud is a scared, avoidant, and emotionally lost person. At the beginning of the game, you have the option to be flirtatious about sleeping next to Tifa, but then during the scene underneath the high wind when they're all alone, Tifa has to initiate the sexy time. The point is, Cloud is really inconsistent with how he acts. This seems to be on purpose with the choices you are given throughout the game. This makes sense because he believes that he is Zack, so having these different options leaves it up to you, the player, to choose if you're more like Zack or Cloud. Cloud is not someone you'd want to date. He is constantly having an inner struggle with himself for most of the game. He takes on the personification of Zack and even has fake memories of being in situations where he never was. Since he's not being himself, then of course he's not going to know what he wants. With all of these problems, he ends up making a bunch of fuck-ups in his relationships and his actions. This is most likely due to not having a great childhood, never being invited to play with other kids, being left alone and blamed for things he didn't do. These things cause him to be avoidant and push others away. Your childhood shapes what your insecurities are and solidifies them when you become an adult. In the end, he did end up with both of them though. Aeris could only love him up till she passed the torch and handed it to Tifa, and now he gets the best of both worlds. Aeris might have gotten the on-screen death, but the real winner here is Yuffie getting the on-screen kiss. Love in real life is often more complicated and a lot more messier. Part of the reason this game is so great is the complex relationships all the characters have. The developers wanted the player to interpret it in their own way and have multiple conclusions. Final Fantasy VII shows that love and romance isn't linear. You don't just find the one and everything is perfect. Sometimes people die, sometimes people randomly show up out of nowhere, and sometimes the person you were looking for was there the whole time. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do in the remake. I have a feeling they will have Jessie play a bigger role in Cloud's relationship from what was shown in the demo, and I can't wait to see how Tifa and Aeris interact with each other in the party. I also can't wait to go on a date with Cloud's one true love, Barret.